Welcome back to episode 7 of the Rounding Third podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Bratton, along with my co-host here, All-American Team USA member, Sierra Sacco, former Diamond Dog, and today's special guest, big blast on Saturday. We're going to get into all that here before long, but Taylor Troutman, welcome to the show, Taylor.
Thank you, T-Bro. I'm excited.
Taylor, this is year 2. Is this your first time on the show?
Yeah.
All right. Exciting times ahead. Catching up a little bit over last week, we had a doubleheader in the midweek, so kind of getting into the nitty-gritty of the doubleheaders, or really, hopefully, knock on wood, weather-wise. We don't get any. We had a lot of doubleheaders last year, particularly on SEC play. I think there was a stretch where we had 7 consecutive doubleheaders, including the bye week at Northwestern up in Chicago when we had to dodge a little bit of snow, which we had some snow flurries earlier this week, which is kind of bizarre to get those after spring break. Every now and then we'll get a little snow flurry. We had, of course it didn't stick, wasn't cold enough for it to stick, but was quite a good dusting we had there for a minute with the snow coming into town. But that's neither here nor there weather-wise. We are the #1 ranked meteorology school in the country. Shout out to Mike Brown and his department over there on campus. Those guys do a tremendous job educating the meteorologists in the country. 1 in 3 broadcast meteorologists that you see on TV in the United States are Mississippi State grads. So kudos, shout out to our broadcast meteorology school. Those guys, again, do a tremendous job. But getting into a little bit last week before we kind of preview the next week coming up, we had a doubleheader with SEMO. So SEMO came to town, 2 games on Tuesday, got out to a quick jump early on, won that first game 9-0. Layla Amon threw the 27th no-hitter in school history. So good job there. And then we finished off the game with a 4-0 win right behind that. That kind of set the stage for the weekend with Tennessee coming to town. We previewed briefly last week that we thought it was going to be a pitcher's duel. You got the #2 and the #1, basically by a lot of the stats, the top 2 ranked pitching staffs in the country kind of going head-to-head, and you saw that 10 combined runs between 2 pretty good offenses, too. You look going ahead of the series, offenses really close in batting average. Us and Tennessee within about 10 points of each other. Stolen bases within about 10 of each other. Home runs, we actually edged them out a little bit on home runs going into that weekend. The same with doubles. We had a few more than them in doubles. So very, very similar on paper offensively. And then, of course, the big thing was the pitching staff, one of the top 2 staffs, if not the top 2 staffs in the country going head-to-head. We led the nation in strikeouts. They led the nation in ERA. So a lot of battling going back and forth, pitching staff-wise, between the two. We knew it was going to be hard-fought for errors. It was going to be hard-fought for runs. It's going to be runs at a premium kind of a game. And that's exactly what it had. You get into the Friday night game, 9 innings, 0-0 through regulation. The fans got their money's worth out of that,
They got free softball.
Some free softball, yeah. So tremendous crowd. I mean, my goodness, we'll get into that here a little bit later too, but tremendous crowd. We get into the 8th inning. Had a couple near misses throughout the game. Key just missed one. Dez just missed one. We had another ball flown out at the wall, so you had a chance in regulation to get one up in the wind, get it out of there, and unfortunately the ball didn't quite leave the yard. But they had, in the 9th inning, a couple of little C&I singles. The balls had eyes, and then Mackenzie Butt put a big swing on one, and that was kind of the difference in the ball game. That set the stage a little bit foreshadowing-wise to you coming in the bottom of the 9th. Pinch hit off of Aaron Newer, home run, got one up in the wind. What an Aaron Newer? They just brought her in because Sage Marchenko was the starter. You got one up in the wind, got a lot of there, and it was kind of a little bit of foreshadowing into what Saturday would be. And it was good to get one back. We threatened, we got the tie and run back up in the 9th, which is something you're always looking for. Get the tie and run up, anything can happen. You need a timely hit. We talk about that a lot. Pitching, defense, and timely hitting. Kind of another thing that makes us in Tennessee really similar is fielding percentage, both around 990, 997, somewhere around there. So 2 elite fielding teams too. And again, runs were at a premium. They were, like I said, 10 combined runs total in the weekend. But that kind of set the stage to Saturday. So you got the at-bat on Friday night, put a good swing on one, got the little ball up in the zone, barreled it up, got it out of the yard. That kind of led into, okay, we're going to get you in there DP Saturday. Had a couple of really good at-bats leading up to it, but kind of tell us a little bit, setting the stage. 0-0 game again, rolling into the 7th inning. We had a couple of big strikeouts in the 7th. Peja Gould really settled in nicely through a tremendous game. And Alyssa Fairclough, too, the night before. Heck, she went the distance, went 9 innings.
Yeah.
Alyssa the night before,
awesome.
my goodness. You get one big hit for her during the game, and everybody's probably talking about Alyssa Fairclough. That's just kind of how it goes with the razor-thin margin. It's something we talked about with our team post-game, just, razor-thin margin in this league. But kind of setting the stage into Saturday's 7th inning. Tremendous crowd, just shy of the school record for any game at News Park, not only regular season. lost my paper.
Not the paper.
My paper's running away. Not just regular season, but almost the biggest crowd ever. Just shy of 2,500 for that. We just shy of 5,000 for the weekend, which is cool. But kind of tell us a little bit, Taylor. You're going in, you're setting the stage, you're leading off. Newer came back into the game again. They started Rutan that game, but she came in. Girl with tremendous numbers. Erin Newer's numbers all year have really been just off the charts good. So kind of tell us a little bit about your thought process going into that at-bat. Just let's let it breathe for a minute. Give us the insights of what was going through the mind of Taylor Troutman going into this big at-bat.
Not really much, honestly. It was going through my mind. Rutan got me twice at the beginning. And I was like, well, you got to just breathe. Like, it's going to be okay. I started the count 0-2. I was like, well, we have a quab chart, and it's 0-2 plus 4. And my next thought was just, hey, like, Ricketts always tells us, like, as long as they're loud outs, like, you got this. Yep. And so I was like, just +4 here, +4, okay? So I kept fouling off balls and everything, and I was like, all right, I +4. All right, let's now do an 8-pitch at-bat. Like, keep trying to work up the quab chart. And once I hit the 8-pitch, I was like, okay, we'll just keep going. You got this. Like, you're seeing plenty of pitches. You're seeing it. Now you just got to get through it. And so when I finally saw that last pitch, it was 3-2 count, and I was either striking out or I was hitting a home run. I was going down. And once it came off the bat, like, I knew it immediately. And you can see in the little videos that Z threw her hand up, like, immediately. And it was just crazy, especially with that crowd. Everyone went crazy, and I kind of blacked out in the moment because I was like, ain't no way that just happened.
I think both your hands shot up as well.
I know they did.
So did T-Brad.
Yep.
I think everybody
There's a
kinda
cool
went
picture
crazy.
have you seen that picture of your hands up and my hands up of that little angle? I'll have to show you.
Oh, you got to see it. I got to check it out then.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was great. I loved it. I mean, I didn't even know. Like, I had a post-game interview with the TV afterward, and my mom was like, oh, what did you say? And I was like, I don't remember, Mom.
I have no idea. Kind of talking about the 2 strikeouts before, how do you remain, like, confident, like, going into each and every at-bat, kind of not taking the result of the last one, but kind of making a new at-bat? How do you stay confident?
Yeah, Coach Ricketts is awesome. She tells us all the time that we're here for a reason, and I really just had to believe that in that at-bat. I was like, well, it's okay. Like, I mean, everyone's going to strike out. We're playing the number 1 team right now. But it's how you do your next at-bat. You can't dwell. And I was talking to my little cousin. So such a funny story. He calls me, and he's like, Taylor, I'm not getting in playing. I don't know what to do. Like, when I go in, I'm stressed. And I'm like, well, bud, like, trust in God. Like, he brought us here for a reason. And he said, when I get in, I'm nervous. And I was like, well, Friday night I wasn't starting, but I came in, I pinch hit, and I hit a home run. I did my job. And he was calling, this was Saturday after the game, and he was like, well, and I got my starting job Saturday, and I didn't start off great, but it's how you finish, not how you start all the time. It's like the turtle in the hair, like, that it's just not always how you start it. You can finish it strong. And he calls me Sunday, and he's like, I did so good. Like, I was just so much happier. And I was like, yeah, like, you got to trust in your ability. Like, you're always put in a position for a reason, and it's how you respond to it.
Preach it.
Yeah, it was, film review on Sunday, kind of going back into the Saturday stuff. You hit and we have all the camera angles. We've got 7 different camera angles going on, so you can see a little bit of everything in terms of scouting on top of that, but everything that goes along with it. And as soon as you hit it, all the fans just went up.
Yeah.
You see, Nadia's dad behind on plate, the hands go up. Glenn Schaefer, the hands go up. Al, the hands go up.
Al and Lexi.
Al and Lex, the hands. So everybody knew it, and then it was just like, hey, make sure you touch home.
See, right.
Get back. No, you can't. Nobody can touch you. Nobody can give you a high five outside of the coaches on the base pass. But that's it. You can't touch it till you get home. So
Yeah.
everybody get out of the way. And we do a good job of that too. We've hit a lot of home runs. We've been there before. It's no big deal for a home run. But the walk-offs are always special because the whole team kind of comes rushing out of the dugout when it's a game winner. And typically it's just the on-deck batter and whoever's kind of coming out of the dugout next in the hole. They're the ones that do the little helmet tap, and that's typically about it for a home run, except for those special moments, the walk-off type moments. And and that was pretty cool. You know, the pony made it out there somehow. You know,
Peja fell on the ground.
Peja fell on the ground.
Slow-mo
Yeah.
fall.
I know, poor girl.
Right.
But it made for some very cinematic type of clips. And David Randall, he had a video that kind of went out, and it really just blew up again. This is 2 weeks in a row. We had Finnegan blow up the week before down in
Yes.
South Alabama, Layla's dog. And then David's post-game video. I had so many coaches within the SEC and outside the SEC just texting me post-game, just chills when that video came out. And it was well done. David, those guys do a tremendous job, you know, kind of putting our players out there, helping with the brand, all the kind of things that go along with that. And that was a pretty special video that he was able to capture, kind of setting the stage for that 7th inning. And, you know, and again, you're 1 inning away from having the same thing Friday night. You know, that's how thin this weekend was. That was how razor sharp this weekend was. We talk about that a lot. And, you know, kind of after the weekend too, you know, the polls had us at 12, kind of going into it. So it was a top 12 showdown, a consensus top 15 showdown rolling in. Anyway, and after the weekend, we moved up even more. So moving up to 11 in the NFCA and the D1 softball polls. We're number 12 in the USA poll. So the 11 is now the highest in the NFCA coaches poll. That's the highest in school history. And, you know, it's been on repeat the last 5 weeks of the show. Hey, every new week there's now a new ranking that's higher than the previous. And, you know, certainly excited about that. Our fans are getting excited about that. You're seeing that kind of excitement roll into the crowds. And I mentioned a minute ago, just shy of 5,000 for the weekend. 2,143 on Saturday. Again, impressive. We were 150-ish away from the record, and that was from the Super Regional back in 2022 that we hosted against Arizona. So good to see the town show out, and this is on spring break.
Yeah.
You know, the students were all on spring break, and you still had just shy of 5,000 here this weekend. So kudos to our FanX team. Those guys did a tremendous job. The press box, all the people involved in putting on a good show. You know, one of their assistant coaches at Tennessee is a good friend of mine, and he texted me post game, and he's like, "Bro, this atmosphere, this experience, this is a tough place to play." And thank y'all for that. You guys juice our players. You guys get us fired up. So thank you, Start Vegas. You guys came out and about. It was a heck of a weekend for us. Looking forward to doing it again in 2 weeks when South Carolina comes to town.
Oh, yeah.
But big time tip of the cap to the FanX team, the crowds, the administration, all the way down, stepping in and really putting on a good show this weekend. That really fired us up and you know, put us in position to go into Sunday to win the series. And kind of rolling into that game, it was one-run game going into the 7th. So again, runs at a premium. They wound up winning 4-1. We have not lost a game by more than 3 all year. So tip of the cap to the pitching staff in that regard too. But it's so, you know, interesting with how metrics work. You know, and you've got RPI metrics, you got DSR metrics, you got KPI. The basketball folks know about KPI a lot, the old Ken Palm ratings. So with that, with every game, win or loss, these algorithms kind of get to popping in, and this supercomputer somewhere is getting to, you know, spitting out numbers like R2D2, you know, and here we are, Saturday's win, we jumped to 8 in RPI, and then after the weekend, 9 in RPI, so both are the highest in school history. So again, knocking at the door in the top 10 with a great opportunity this week. Back at home again tonight, UAB comes to town. Taylor Smart's going to have her team fired up. We'll get those guys tonight, 7 o'clock SEC Network, so that'll be fun to see. Those that can't make it out to News Park, make sure you tune into the SEC Network tonight for a rematch with the UAB Blazers. And this weekend we hit the road again. We go to Georgia on Thursday, so we'll go see Tony Baldwin and his group. And again, another top 15 matchup. This is what the SEC is. It's week in and week out. And you know, we told our players, hey, this is one game out of 24, and there's 24 super regional games. You know, that really is. That's the SEC. I mean, we say that at nauseum a good bit, but there's so many top 15, top 16, top 25 teams. It's week in, it's week out, and thought we were ready for the challenge this weekend. A game that one swing away, you're winning the series. You know, 2 swings away, you're sweeping the series. That's how close this past weekend was. We mentioned the strikeouts going in. We lead the nation now with 282. That's 32 more than anybody else. We lead the nation in strikeouts looking 59. Again, we hit on that last week. That's a stat that Coach T really rallies around. That's one that means a lot to her. The strikeouts looking, it kind of gets into strategy and scouting, and that's that type of thing. The strikeout to walk ratio is 6.41. Again, leads the country in that. 32 strikeouts more than the number 2 team. 3 Bulldog arms are now among the top 10 nationally in fielding independent pitching and whip. In the SEC, the Bulldogs are 1.32 in that category. only trail Tennessee at 0.89 in terms of actually runs allowed. Excuse me, a different category, runs allowed. We're allowing 1.32 runs a game. Tennessee with 0.89 and Alabama with 1.37. We're the only 3 teams in the country to be under 1.5 runs allowed per game. And that's kind of a combination of the pitching staff and the defense, kind of a tag team that go hand in hand. You can't have one without the other. Rolling into that, another highlight, the number 1 ranked defense in the country now. Top defense in the country, 989. It's been a long time coming. A lot of hours put in on the recruiting trails, getting the right people here. Coach Shaw, another one on our staff that takes tremendous pride in our defense. And I think he and I talk about defense all the time. And kind of an old school guy myself, kind of coming from old school baseball, if you will, and that sort of thing. It's been all about defense, pitching and defense, timely hitting. That's always been the message. And you could be hitting the ball really good and still go 0 for 10.
Yep.
But the glove has to play.
That stinks, yep.
The glove has to play. There can't be bad days with the glove, and it's something we emphasize a lot with working with infielders, working with outfielders, working with the team defense, the dynamic, that kind of thing. The defense has to always play. If the defense plays, you have a chance.
Yeah.
If you have good pitching, you have a chance. Pitching and defense is going to keep you in ball games, and then you need the knockout punch offensively. And, that's where the 3-run inning comes in. We talk about that a lot, about the big inning, those 3-run innings. And
Crooked
numbers, getting those crooked numbers up, and then getting the shutdown right behind it. Making the defensive plays right behind it to keep them at bay. Getting the big pitches, the strikeouts, all those things work hand in hand in defense. And that's something that's kind of flown under the radar a little bit this year now, but the number 1 ranked defense in the country. Proud of the girls, proud of our team, proud of a lot of people that are pulling together on the rope on this, whether it be behind the plate. Des doing a tremendous job behind the plate. Anna behind the plate doing a tremendous job. The plays AG has made at first base this year.
She saved a lot of
runs. What Styles
girls.
has done up the middle this year. What Gabby and Z at 2 this year. And Nadia goes without saying what she's done. SEC all-defensive member there. Outfielders making plays. So it's just a culmination of everybody kind of working together, and a lot to be proud of with the defense to try to keep that thing going as we roll into a really good offensive team with Georgia this weekend and a really scrappy offensive team coming in tonight with UAB. Yeah. Going into more of the interview portion of the show here, Sacco's going to lead. And you guys couldn't be better for each other here. Really close friends a year ago. Your senior year, you kind of took Taylor under your wing a little bit. Of course, you coming in off the knee injury as well. Yeah. So basically in the weight room a lot. Spent a lot of time in Marcy. But, Sacco's somebody that's overcome some adversity too. So I think you two are able to help each other out. Is something to be excited about. We'll let you kind of lead this portion of the show since this is one of your best friends. I thought Maddox was your best friend, but
Maddox is my best friend.
Sacco might actually be the best friend. So take it away, Sierra.
Well, our friendship kind of started whenever Taylor did tear her ACL, and she was like, I don't really have a ride to class. Yeah.
I had no ride to anywhere. I couldn't drive.
I can't drive. I can't walk. Yeah. I'm like, I'll take you to class. Come on. Because as a senior, you don't really have that many in-person classes. Yeah. So I'm kind of free. So I'm like, come on, get in the front seat. Let's go. We'll go to temp to lunch, and then we'll get to class. Like, everything's fine. And so we also spent a lot of time in rehab together.
Oh, yeah.
So that was also fun. But it was your first SEC opening weekend facing the number 1 team in the country. Kind of talk through what those emotions were like.
I didn't let it get too high because in travel ball I got to face Aaron quite a bit. But we just got to see a lot of these pitching, and I actually got to use you a lot because on Sunday, like you faced Carlin and you've seen her plenty of times, and so it's awesome. Like you can't let the moment get too big because that's when your head spins too much. And so it was really awesome just being calm and like we're in this, like it doesn't matter that they're the number 1 ranked team, like we can still beat them, and we did. We gave them their first loss of the year. And so it was really, really great having you to help me out and having the whole staff to back me up.
Absolutely. And then speaking of SEC opening weekend again, me and Taylor kind of did something for the whole team.
Yeah.
We got everyone's families to write a note. We got to print some pictures out. And I know family is a big, big thing for probably all 3 of us here. Kind of talk about your family dynamic and how your dad was always your coach. Kind of talk about what he means to you.
Shannon.
Oh, Shannon. I love my dad. I love my family. They've supported me my whole entire life. I started playing softball when I was like 3 years old. Me and Sierra go to coffee all the time. And we actually talked about this morning. Was my first little travel team was called Little Sticks.
3-year-old Taylor Troutman.
Little 3-year-old, just because my sister was 2 years older than me, and she played softball, so I just joined in. I was like, why not? And my family has supported me my whole entire life. My dad wasn't able to make it down this weekend. And I thought he was going to crash out. I felt so bad for him. But
he's the defending state champion in Kentucky, though. Like, he's got a job, too. He's the defending state champion, and Kentucky does it unlike any other state.
Yeah.
Right.
The state champion is the state champion. It's not the 1A state champ or the 2A state champ. It's the overall state champion. So, little head nod there to your dad.
He's awesome. He's helped me out my whole entire life, and anytime I need anything, I can call him, and it's not just for softball. I can talk to him anything. And my mom's also my best friend. I call her at least once a day, and while she's at work. And her little friends are always talk to me, and they support me so much. And I just love my family.
You also got a bunch of little cousins, like you kind of mentioned.
I do.
What's that dynamic like as well? Having all them look up to you all the time.
I love kids.
You do.
T-Brat knows that. I love his kids. Kids are my passion, and my babies at home are probably one of the most special people to me. I'm really like, but I miss them so much. They get to call me, and after I hit the walk-off, my little cousin probably called me like 5 times, but we had that mandatory booster dinner. And he kept texting me, and he was like, can I please call you? And I was like, I'm almost done with this dinner, bud. Like, I'll call you right when. So I called him after, and he was like, that was so awesome. But all the kids are so precious. They've been texting me nonstop. Even if I don't do good, they don't care. But they watch every single game. They do not miss. And it's like the second they come home from school, they're like, is Taylor playing? And so they support me unlike no other. And I'm so grateful to have little kids that look up to me, and I actually look up to them too.
Oh, that's sweet. Speaking of kids, kind of talk about what you're studying and what you're trying to do once softball's over, hopefully in like 10 years.
Yeah. I'm studying elementary education. I want to be a little elementary school teacher because that's my passion. Like, the Lord gives us all passions, and my passion is kids. I get to hang out with my best friend Maddox at softball and Bales.
Best friend.
Bales and Lincoln, like all the time, and Sierra, but but Maddox was really funny this weekend.
Yes, he was.
He if you watch David's video, like we talked about earlier, Maddox is on the field. And Lauren, your wife, was looking around for Maddox after the game. And Lauren's like, where's Maddox? And looks up, and he's giving me a hug right on home plate. And
Of course.
Lauren goes and asks Maddox, and she said, Maddox, how did you get on the field? He said, open the gate.
Open the gate.
Like, come
Like
on.
I said, so just open the gate. You know?
But he's so cute. He supports us all the time. And then Sunday, he had the maroon and white face paint on.
That's it.
And he got to be the bullies kid of the game. And they asked him who his best friend was, and he said me. And they asked why, and he said, because we're best friends. That video made me melt. But, like, that's just how much passion I have for kids. Is like, I want to support the next generation so much. And I had a dad text me this morning, actually, and was like, it's my daughter's birthday. Are you able to see her after a game? I was like, yeah, like, I'll be in, like, the grass area. I'll come and say hi. Like, I made sure to sign every kid's autograph Saturday. Like, I don't want the kids to go unnoticed because they want to be like us one day, and that was my dream, and I want to help them make it happen, too.
That is so sweet. Speaking of Maddox, y'all two kind of came in twinning. Was that Friday?
We did Saturday.
Saturday. Starkville
20.
versus everybody.
Exactly.
That's it. And that was, part of the message pregame. David got to be a part of our pregame, how we do our scouting, our film work, get the girls ready to play, all that kind of stuff. And even the postgame, we don't really talk as a team postgame. It's very, very brief. It's always into the next day. We'll get into the pros and the cons of the game before. Here's what we did well. Here's what we need to work on. It's more professional that way. That's what we always say with our players. It's always professional. It's not personal. And the next day kind of gives everybody a chance to kind of take the emotion aside, roll back into the X's and O's part, and get into, hey, how are we going to attack today? Here's what we did well yesterday. What can we continue to do well to attack today? And it was kind of the mindset, the Strawford versus everybody. And we dealt with that a little bit in football this past fall. Big Arizona State game coming in, top 10 football team rolling in. Davis Wade was rocking. The boys
crazy.
won.
It was a heck of a long touchdown pass to Brendan Thompson. Stormed the field. It was fantastic, and it was kind of that Strawford versus everybody mantra. And so it was one of those things. We were right there on Friday night. We're an inch away Friday night from winning the ball game, and it's kind of a, hey, it's us against the world. And you say that a lot, but we have these shirts, these camouflage shirts by Bossy Oak that says Strawful versus everybody. So I've got one. My son had one. So we're like, we're going to wear these to pregame. And we did, so we were kind of twinning. You took the photo.
did
It was
take the
almost
photo.
like foreshadowing here. It's like we designed it this way. You took the photo, and it's like, you know what? This is today's game day fit. This is today's game day mood. It's us against the world. It's our house. We're going to defend our house. And that's exactly what you saw. I thought our players came out with a pretty good energy, really high-level focus going into that, too. Our kids were hungry on Saturday. Peja threw an absolute gem. Alyssa did the night before as well. And then you saw us get the big hit. And again, that's it's the Southeastern Conference for you. You're one hit away. You're one play away. You're one pitch away. Every pitch has a life and history of its own. And so you never know if it's going to be pitch 3 that wins a game or pitch 133. You don't know until it's over with. Then you go back and say, hey, well, these are all the ingredients to the win, and this is what we did well, this and that and the other. And so, it was kind of Strawful versus everybody, and that was kind of the mindset with that, and you saw it, and our players really rallied around that a little bit too, and I just thought we brought big-time energy again. Shout out to the crowd, too, that they really helped juice us there as well with that. So, Maddox just opened the gate. He's hugging you, and it's this little short gate, so it's not a big gate. Nobody's really manning the little 4-foot gate, and he's short enough he can get on in there, and next thing you know, he's and you've done a good job really with him. It's like he's known you for 5 years, but you're just a freshman. I think we forget about it. Taylor's just a freshman. You're a redshirt freshman. You and Abigail. Also Gina, also Vector. She has a lot of names. All the names.
All the above.
But there's still 3 more years.
Yeah.
So Mississippi State's got a lot to be proud of, especially with some of the younger ones on our team really showing out. And, I had somebody tag me on Twitter, too, kind of getting into somebody that emailed or reached out to you yesterday. You're out there's a little event going on with the kids in town, and you're out there pregame.
Oh.
And you're signing
Saturday
autographs
morning.
Saturday morning. We have a big-time game at 2 o'clock. But you're up volunteering your time, giving back to the community, and that just, the game knows. We say this all the time. The game knows, the softball gods know all these things that can be coach speak, right? But the game knows, and how awesome was that it paid you back 4 hours later.
It was
you went and did a good service to those kids. It paid you back, and somebody actually tagged me on Twitter about that you went and did that. That was pretty cool too.
That's
so
sweet.
keep doing the right thing. Good things are going to happen, and that's some words to live by for sure.
Right.
There.
For sure.
And then as we bring up Starkville versus everybody, kind of talk about what brought you here to Starkville.
I knew Starkville was it. The second I got a call from Coach Ricketts on September 1st, I got to come here on a camp my sophomore year, and the second I stepped on this campus, I knew this was home. And that's what everyone says, but you don't really think about it until you actually step foot on this campus and you see, like you saw this weekend, the 5,000 fans that come out and show out for News Park every single weekend. And the small town people that support you all the time. I have met so many people that will come to my games and they just talk to me all the time, and I've never felt support like this before than in Starkville, Mississippi, and it feels like home. Like, I live in a small town in Kentucky, and I always wanted something like that, and this is exactly what I was looking for. This is home. This is where you can go to a little coffee shop and you see like 5 people you know, and it's an SEC campus, but it's home. It's a small little town where everyone is just great to you.
Absolutely. And then you talked about you went to lunch like the next day, and somebody's like, weren't you the one that hit the walk-off home run?
Yep.
Like, was that you?
Yep.
And you're
Yeah.
like, yeah.
It was crazy. Me and my mom, what were we doing? Where did we go? We went somewhere, and I went to the doctor's office, and they said,
that's what it was.
yeah. I was like, hi, I'm Taylor Troutman. And they're like, you're the one that hit the home run. I was like, yeah.
That's me.
It was so funny. I was like, yeah, that is me.
Like, okay, yep, that's me. Everybody knows me now. That's
No,
whatever.
I'm like, ah.
No, but that's really awesome. Kind of talk about what led up to that moment, kind of the year of rehab, the year of just watching. Kind of talk about that year and how that built you for the moment of Saturday.
Yeah, last year was rough. I'm not going to be on it. I'm not going to, lie to you. It was rough. It was hard. Never wish an ACL tear on anyone. You have rehab all the time. You're in and out of the weight room all the time. And you're having to watch all these games. And I've never gotten injured before. This is my first injury. But I think it was the best thing that ever happened to me. Yeah. It was hard in the moment, but God has a plan for all of us, and God's plan had me take off that year, and I am literally crazy. I think I have to hit every single day, which I'm like that type of person, and he forced me to take a break, and I think that's what I needed was rest in that moment. And to come to college, I got to see it from a different perspective, and I learned to love the game more last year. And now coming in this year, I got to breathe. Like I got to watch you do your thing, and Sierra always helps me in the hitting facility wherever it's at, and you brought me in everywhere. Like you took me under your wing, and I'm so grateful to have like you here, and I have a great staff that always supported me last year and always checked in on me. Like even if I wasn't playing, they always asked like, "How are you doing, Taylor? Like how's your knee?" And it wasn't even how's my knee, it's how are you mentally doing too, because we have a staff that cares for you physically and mentally. And I think that's great about this is they love you as a person, and that's what we really get to show. And that's what I got to see last year was how great this staff is and how great these players are personally, and to love the game more. That's genuinely what I thought this weekend was like, hey, like you've put yourself here for a reason and you can do it. Like you're part of this program for a reason.
And speaking of such a great staff, T-Brad, I think you play an amazing role in that. Kind of
For
talk
sure.
about what you want to leave an impression on your players. Like what kind of identity do you want to carry on yourself, like to present to your players?
I think first and foremost is to know that they're cared for. You know, we can all see what happens between the white lines. That's the stuff on film we can critique. We can say this is good, this is bad, indifferent. But regardless of all that, did you know that you were cared for? Do you know that you know, I'm a hugger. I'm gonna put my arm around you. You know, and I think a lot of times, you know, it could be a challenge. You know, you maybe you're 10 for 10, maybe you're 0 for 10. You know, when you're 10 for 10, everybody likes you when you're 10 for 10, right? But what is it when you're 0 for 10? And I think that's anything that I want the message to be is he cared for me whether I was 0 for 10 or 10 for 10. None of that really mattered. And you know, you say that with the outfielders too when we're out there, when I'm talking to the infielders too, you know, it's usually it's how are you before it is anything, you know, technical wise, you know, fundamental wise, that kind of thing. And I just think that goes a long way. You know, it's all about relationship. We are in a relationship sport. College athletics is all about relationships. And, you know, the more you deviate into where it's just about the X's and O's, then you've lost the message. And so I think the biggest thing is that I try to do is just be a constant, somebody that's going to bring good, positive energy. They knows that, man, he really cares. You know, they see my kids around, you know, see my wife around. You know, and that's the family piece is huge here. You know, we talk about family a lot. It was, you know, you see it all over our campus, you know, family with the M being the M state, you know, and, you know, it's not just talking the talk. It's not just the coach speak. Like you see it, you see Bailey in there at practice in the morning. You see Maddox coming in running on the field celebrating with you. Heck, Maddox is holding the Beware of Dog sign behind your post-game interview with the SEC Network. And you wouldn't have it any other way. Lincoln's the same way. Coach Taryn's his son Lincoln, he's out there too. But I think to answer your question, I don't care what anybody thinks about me from a coaching part is, did he care? Did he invest in these players? Did he make them feel better? Those are the things that I hope when it's all said and done and I'm retired 25 years from now, that, you know what, he cared for me and I'm glad I got to play for him.
Yeah, well, I think you do an amazing
for
job.
sure.
I think every single player here would say that. So kudos to you. I think you're doing exactly what you want to do.
Well, appreciate
You
it.
make us want to run through a brick wall sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes.
Well, I thank you. And, you know, and I've been fortunate to be molded by some of the greats. You know, and it goes into to Ron Polk. You know, he needs no description. Everybody knows who Ron Polk is. So it goes into you know to playing for how those people made you feel. And I definitely want to try to illustrate that and emulate that as much as I possibly can as well. All right, we're now that we're past the heavy part. This is the Rounding Third podcast, so when you're rounding third, you're headed home and kind of previewing into tonight. We got UAB tonight, 7 o'clock. Got Flex to the SEC Network. Normally we don't play at 7 p.m. on a Wednesday, but we are tonight with the SEC Network. So celebrating International Night. So and we can kind of we got some international influence on our team. Coach Ricketts is going to coach the American Samoa national team. Her coaching staff has been announced. The players should be coming out really soon. Hopefully in the next week or two, we'll have some players being announced as part of that team. it's going to be a pretty good roster.
Oh, it's gonna
You
be
guys got
great.
your work cut out for you with Team USA having to play the American Samoa team. But Peja got a chance to go off and play this summer. She went off and played for Colombia.
Colombia, yeah.
So that was some good experience for her. It's another state to the show already. We've got these state to the show players, and some are still a part of the team right now, which is kind of cool. State to the show with you, obviously a USL championship going into Australia. It's not easy to get to Australia. You got to take a long flight.
Too long.
A really long flight, like a 16-hour flight.
She would text me. And she's
Yep.
like, I couldn't sleep on the plane. I'm so tired.
I know.
We got to practice as soon as we land.
As soon as
so
land, got to get
let's
the blood moving. Get
Yeah.
get you rolling, get some of the soreness out, all that kind of stuff. But so you've got some experience with Australia. Coach Ricketts, American Samoa, Peja, Colombia, going down the line. There's been a lot of folks over the years kind of come through that have played in different international type events. Zach's been all over the world. I mean, he really has.
We were just talking
on the
about that
men.
yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chloe also playing in the Mexican
Chloe.
League.
Man, they do a great job. Every time I see something on Instagram for her team, and it is a huge crowd.
Yes.
Every time. It's
They've
a huge
got advertisements all over the uniform. They got
Yeah.
a different logo on the knee. They got one on the thigh. They got logos everywhere. So,
Yeah.
hey, you laugh, but that could
might
be
be
us down the road.
I
You
know.
never
That's
know
what
with
Ricketts
the-
was talking to us about because Arkansas just did it with Tyson
Yeah,
Foods.
yeah. So it's kind of the
nuggets.
future. I think NCAA just passed that not long ago that you can
Yeah.
start having branding outside of just your school's logos on the uniform. So who knows? I mean, it changes.
You never
If you're
know.
listening.
If you're listening, it changes every 2 weeks. And hey, if there's an LLC out there that wants to come get the dogs, hit us up. We'll redirect you to the right people to contact with on that. But that's exciting for tonight. Georgia Tech's playing Georgia, so we played Georgia Tech a few weeks ago on our way to Clemson for that tournament. Georgia's got Georgia Tech tonight as well, so another common opponent. UAB, they've had a lot of common opponents. I think we're 4-0 against teams that UAB has also played. So we're getting to that point of the year where you're starting to play teams that you've either played already or you're playing somebody that just played them, especially kind of in this region of the country. There's so many Division I college teams in our backyard. So you're kind of getting to that point where you're starting to play a lot of them. And this is where the RPI really starts to take off too. We're in a good spot with the RPI coming out this year. Last year, I think we started out at 25, finished somewhere around 19, 20, somewhere around those lines. But this year we started out in the top 10 when the RPI released. So in a good spot with that, especially now that most of the non-con's done. There's only 2 non-conference games left in the regular season. Us with UAB tonight and then UT Martin with one more midweek. And then, you blink and it's over. Like it really, once you get going, it flies by. You're playing 56 games in 13 weeks. Baseball gets 56 games in 14 weeks. So you're doing it even with a more condensed schedule than what our friends across the street there do to Noble Field do.
Yeah.
But RPI is huge. That's stuff that the committee looks at, the KPI, the DSR, Diamond Sports Radio, all those things that kind of gets into where was the game played, what was the score of the game, who was favored to win. That takes in even more account into what's going on with the DSR, and we're in the top 10 in that as well. So in a really good spot metrically as we go into the back half of the season. Obviously, we're in the heart of SEC play now. We've had our first round bye already for the South Alabama tournament, but definitely a big challenge ahead of us this week. UAB tonight, Georgia this weekend. And then we'll rinse. We'll do it all over again and get ready for the next challenge next week with another home series with
Always
South
gotta
Carolina
look
coming to
forward.
town. So excited about what's going on here with the softball program. A lot of exciting things here at News Park tonight. And then we'll hit the road again and we'll do it next week. So tune into X, tune into Instagram, tune into Hell State SB. You'll see all the things that keep you updated with game times, ticket information, the whole 9 yards. But if you don't want to do all that, you can just tune into the Rounding Third podcast, and we'll keep you up to speed with that stuff as well. But for Taylor Troutman and Sierra Sacco, I'm Tyler Bratton signing off. Hail State.
Hail
Hail State.